Asia. It's my fourth year living here in Busan as an undergraduate student at Gyeongsang University. Let me first describe what my hometown looks like. Jakarta, Indonesia is surrounded by beautiful oceans, exotic temples, and strong dialects. Does any of this ring a bell? Yes. The descriptions also fit very well with Busan. 7 beaches, attractive temples like Haedong Yeonggongsa, and we can't forget the famous dialect Busan Saturi. And that's when I knew Busan was going to be my second home. I grew up so much in Busan that I even mentor other students from Indonesia to help them with their Korean and life in Busan. When I teach them Korean, I sometimes see myself using Saturi. Looking back, I remember struggling to understand what my professors were saying because they were using 찐 Busan Saturi, you know, the real Busan dialect. But I think that's what makes Busan more of my home. Through the dialect, I feel the warm charm that no other city can mimic. Global City Busan. We are in it together. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Gold. Kum. Well, gold is one of the most valued natural resources in the world. We know this. It's been known and used by humans since, they say, at least 4,000 BCE. And throughout history has been used as a material first, used as jewelry, and evolved to be used as currency too. According to the Korea Gold Exchange, I just checked right now, 1돈, 3.75 grams of gold sits at around 894,000 won. That's as of closing of the market yesterday. So while gold has traditionally been globally preferred as this very safe asset, the daily fluctuations have been on this roller coaster ride. And here in Korea, gold prices have soared past global levels, reviving the whole kimchi premium as investors rush to buy up this metal amid surging demand and tight supply. So I'm very curious, waivers out there, are you part of this gold rush? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, October 21st on BEFM 부산영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Welcome to the show. So, I started the show today talking about gold. And while those who might have enough money, ample money to invest might consider buying gold, right? But those without might actually be thinking, do I need to sell now? Do I need to sell now? Because the daily fluctuations, yes, they go up and down, but right now, as of yesterday, 894,000 won if you're buying gold. So that's here in Korea. The thing is this, though. Speaking of, buying or selling, the economy and people's livelihoods, that's on the mind of pretty much everybody as economic struggles continue overall. We often cover economic figures. We talk about the GDP, household debt, inflation, so on and so forth, which often look at kind of the bigger picture. But this figure may offer a stark look into what the day-to-day struggles look like on the ground level. So I'm talking about South Korea's overdue credit card debt, which has reached its highest level yet. So in Korean, we call that 연체된 카드 대출. The Financial Supervisory Service, the FSS's figure, shows that the total amount of overdue credit card or cash service debt comes to 1.48 trillion won. That is as of August this year. The delinquency rate in proportion to total loans also stands at the highest yet at 3.3%. So why the sudden spike in these delinquent credit card loans? This may be because banks are tightening their criteria for just regular loans, for credit loans, right? So major commercial bank figures show that nearly half of their new loans went to people with uber high credit scores of 951 or higher. But what that means for people without these really high credit scores is that they are pushed to, for example, credit unions or further down the financial chain for loans, which tend to have higher interest rates. And overall, these conservative loans made by the top commercial banks may be a result of the government's heightened regulations coming out of COVID-19. But experts, also raise concerns that these people with medium to even people with lower credit scores may be losing access to the banking system. And they're calling for a more comprehensive set of financial policies. So that is what we're talking about today. All right? So now, are you ready for our text topic? It's a fun one, and it is very much related to one of our stories later on in Waggle Waggle. So here we go. What is your favorite street food? 자, 내가 제일 좋아하는 길거리 음식은 하나만 골라야 되나요, 피디님? 딱 하나? 딱 하나래요. She says only one. Your favorite. My mouth is watering just thinking about it at 7:05 in the morning because there are so many to choose from. Some people might go for the perennial favorite like tteokbokki. But on a colder day like this, what about the 어묵 on a stick, the fish cake on a stick, and the 국물? The 국물 that they give you to you in a little cup, that's also very good. And what about, I've already seen the stalls, the 붕어빵. Or, do I need to go on and on? You know what I'm talking about, right? The 군고구마. Have they started yet? Anyhow, what is your favorite street food? Let me know. Send in your thoughts, your opinions to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM, Busan 영어 방송, to find us first. You can subscribe and you can log in to chat with other waivers. Also, from the phone, your phone, of course, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk as well. Add us as a friend first, and you can send in your messages. If you have photos of your favorite street food, yes, send those in so we can be extra hungry this morning. You can tune into Morning Wave in Busan through our live stream. Like I said, right now we're streaming live. You can also watch again at your leisure. We're available on the radio, obviously, right? We started off as just radio, 90.5 and 103.3 FM here in Busan. You can also check out our BEFM app or download the Popbang app. Both are free, easy to download to access our program. Now, let's look at the daily lineup. Today, we have Andrew with Wave Sports, and then we have in hour number 2, Bonnie for Simply Sustainable. And for our special interview today, we're going to be talking about OpenAI's policy shift. Have you heard about this? I heard about it. We talked about it briefly. They're going to be introducing what they call, in air quotes, mature content, I hope your kids are not listening. They probably don't know what it means. Erotica, things like that, just in case we have families that are listening together for verified adults. But how do you feel about that? Well, we're going to find out with our expert in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's time for news overview. It's now 7:07. DP presents major court reform bill. The Democratic Party, or DP's Judicial Reform Special Committee, announced plans to expand the number of justices from the current 14 to 26, expected to be fiercely debated in the political and judicial circles. Two more South Koreans rescued in Cambodia. Foreign Minister Cho Hyun said that the Cambodian police rescued 2 additional South Koreans under illegal detention and arrested 10 others in crackdowns against online scams. President pledges full support for defense R&D. President Lee Jae-myung yesterday vowed to inject an unprecedented budget for defense and aerospace research and development by 2030 to establish key defense technology and space capabilities. Teacher sentenced to life for student's murder. The Daejeon Regional Court yesterday sentenced Byung Jae-won, a teacher who murdered a 7-year-old student, to a life sentence yesterday. Amazon Web Services outage causes global platform disruptions. A malfunction at Amazon Web Services caused outages for major global platforms including Zoom, Lyft, Duolingo, and Roblox. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan. We have Sejin in the studio. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. Well, I do want to get your take on your favorite street food. Do you have one? You can only choose one. You can mention 3, but you got to choose your top favorite. So
Okay.
here we go.
Hot dog?
Hot
Yeah, it
dog.
must be hot dog. In winter, it's hot dog.
Yes.
In summer,
Is there a
it's
different
hard
one?
to get. It's hard to get hot dog in
Yes.
summer. And 붕어빵. You said I have to
Choose
have
just one.
Okay, then hot dog.
Well, who are the runner-ups? So hot dog is number 1, but the runner-up might be
붕어빵 or baguette.
Baguette is a street food? Well, in France? Or I'm just
It
saying.
could be here in South Korea.
Yes, you can make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
You can spread the word, right? Yes, okay. Well, let's start with our first bit of local news. So I hear we have some good news. What's the latest?
Busan's just been chosen to host International Hydrographic Organization, or
Yes.
IHO Infrastructure Center, which manages globally standardized digital marine data. According to the city, the IHO made a decision and is at its 9th council meeting in Monaco on the 16th.
Yeah, so what exactly
Local
will this center do?
It's basically make and manage the global system called S100, which helps people share and use ocean information in the same way everywhere.
Okay.
That includes 3D maps of the seafloor, live updates on tides, and marine weather data. The center will also help turn this data into digital maps for ships, so sailors can travel more safely and accurately. So the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries was the one that first pushed to bring the IHO Center to Korea.
Yes.
And it was officially approved at the IHO Council meeting last October. Both Busan and Incheon competed, but at the end of the year's meeting, Busan came out on top.
Yay. So congratulations to our city. But we do need to ask, why did Busan edge out Incheon?
They say Busan's got the edge because its marine industry is much bigger and is easier to connect with related institutions like the Korean Institute of Ocean Science and Technology. The center will need formal approval from around 100 member states at the IHO General Assembly next April. Then it's officially opening at the Busan International Finance Center, Phase 3 building.
Yes, so what will the center do day to day?
It will check new sea data from many countries and also train how to produce products and keep good quality. It will also help host international conferences all year round, handle certification work, and boost navigation equipment and self-driving ships.
Oh, so this is very much an important thing. So thank you for sharing this good news with our listeners. And speaking of Busan hosting, there's a major global meeting. So what is this?
The Korea Aerospace Administration just announced that it's hosting 19th International Committee on Global Navigation Satellite Systems, ICJ, annual meeting in Busan for 6 days until this 24th. It will bring together around 200 satellite navigation experts from around the world.
Yes, so we need some more information. What exactly is the ICG?
The ICG is an intergovernmental committee under UN Office for Outer Space Affairs. It's designed to promote and improve GNSS, that's Global Navigation Satellite System. And since 2005, it has gathered GNSS experts from various countries each year in the second half through its annual meeting.
Okay.
Korea, which is developing its own regional satellite navigation system called the Korea Positioning System, KPS, actively pursued both ICG membership and is become a full member in 2021 and secured to host the 19th ICG annual meeting.
I see. So who is taking part in this?
So at the meeting, there will be 50 member countries and 21 partner and observer organizations taking part. All of them have or are developing their own GNSS. Again, that's Global Navigation Satellite System. They're going to talk about how to use and improve the systems and also coordinate on signals and services. They'll also share what each country is working on, like research and policy update, and discuss future navigation tech. Think low Earth orbit or lunar navigation.
And so were there any comments or statements made?
An official said Korea wants to play a responsible role in the global community, helping the world's navigation systems work well together. He added that in the meeting's great chance to strengthen international cooperation and build closer ties with other ICG members.
I see. So that's another big one that we're hosting. All right. Now let's talk about an update for Busan. It's regarding rent relief, which is on the way for small businesses.
Yes, Busan City announced plans to cut rent on public property by 50% to support small business owners hit hard by the economic slowdown.
Right, and this is pretty significant, but I guess there's more?
Yes, they will also offer 1 year payment deferral and cut late fees by half. So the support's mainly for small and medium-sized businesses and small shop owners. In total, about little less than 2,300 rental cases will be covered, saving tenants an estimated 11.7 billion won.
Yes.
It applies to payment due from January to December this year.
What about those small business owners who have already paid, I guess, their rent? What happens?
They will get a refund for the discounted amount. And if a new contract, the rent will be charged at a lower rate from the start. People can apply by November 30th, and each department in charge of the rental will guide them through the process and handle the applications. Mayor Park Hyung-jun says he hopes this eases the pressure on small farms facing falling sales and rising closures.
Yes, indeed, because I don't know if you've seen any of some of the local areas where there's a lot of for lease signs that we don't want the smaller businesses to shut down. So, all right. Next, here's one for city planning fans. Busan is rebuilding a major community hub after 4 decades. What is this one about?
Busan City Women's Center will be rebuilt for the first time in 44 years and transformed into a family education and culture space. The project, tentatively named Busan Women Plaza, passed a central investor review.
Yes. So this current hall, it's pretty old.
Yes. So this project is to rebuild the Busan City Women's Center in Namgu, Busan, which was first completed in 1981.
Yes.
The building will have 11 floors above ground and 4 below.
So tell us about the projection of this project. What is the path forward?
So after it became one of the 8th term pledges back in 2022, the plan went through several steps.
Yes.
It went through planning and feasibility study and finally got the green light from the central government. Now, Busan City wants to turn the new building into a family-friendly education and culture center, not just for women, but also men, kids, and teens.
Yes.
They're going to strengthen what the old women's center used to do, things like education and job or start-up sport for women. But they're also adding new spaces like city-run children's psychology clinic, a children's multicultural space called Tulak, and even exhibition and performance halls.
Ooh, so the timeline, when can people expect the doors to open?
Design completion next year, groundbreaking in 2027, and opening in 2030. The existing hall will move to a temporary site during the work.
Yes. So it sounds like this upgrade is going to do wonders and people will await this. All right. Quick heads up for families in Busan. There's a new kids English channel getting a proper launch. And this is very much an important announcement. Perk up your ears. Here we go. Yes.
Busan English Broadcasting BFM is officially launching its new children's English YouTube channel, BFM Kids. is holding a big launch show on October 25th, Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Tulangnalak Children's Cultural Space inside the Busan City Hall.
Yes. So once again, BEFM Kids. Can I say it slowly enough?
Yes.
What's going to be on this channel?
BEFM Kids is a channel made for preschoolers and lower grade elementary kids where they can learn English in a fun and easy way. It's got all sorts of English content such as traditional tales and Busan legend in English, phonics content and more. The event's meant to celebrate the start of the channel and to make it fun family festival where parents and kids can enjoy together. The show will be hosted by comedian Lee Sang-hun, and there'll be a magic show and talk show with guests like Sam Hamilton, his son William and Bentley, and other guests too.
Yes. And so what will they be talking about?
The guests will talk about using content for children's English education and practical study tips at home. If you want to join, you can sign up on BFM website or just register on the site. It's free to attend.
Yes. So once again, it's this Saturday at 2 p.m. It's going to be held at the Tulangnalak. This is a culture space within our city hall. And by the way, if you haven't been, it's so amazingly built and it's really cute. And it's for all people, but of course for the kids. So thank you for explaining this plus all the other local stories. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sajin.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get to your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning Wave in Busan.
It is now 7:20. Here's your traffic report. First up, let's talk about the Dongso Overpass. It is congested from Hwangryong Ramp to the old Kegum Tollgate. Next up, it is backed up from the Manduk intersection to the Namhae Expressway, the Deokjeon Ramp. There is traffic on Gwanmun-daero from Pangnam to Baekyang Tunnel. It's also slow on Gaya-daero from Naengjeong Station to Judae intersection. There are some road closures this morning from 10:30 to 11:50 for the National Sports Festival Half Marathon spanning the Asiad Stadium, Geoje, Gyodae stations, Yeonsan intersection, Jeonpo and Munhyun intersection. So please check ahead of time and take detours as necessary. Currently, it's 15 degrees Celsius under cloudy skies. It's going to go up to just 19 today. Across the nation, big temperature drops compared to previous years with morning lows of 5 degrees in Seoul, Incheon, and Suwon with strong winds. The daytime high is forecast to be anywhere between 13 degrees and 20 degrees, depending on where you are. And this was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Let's say hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
You look very lovely.
Thank you.
Especially in person.
Oh.
Because I feel like it doesn't.
The
camera
beige blends with everything.
Everything.
So I'm just a floating head right now for the most part.
No, that's why I'm like, it looks even more fantastic in person. Is what I'm trying to say.
You gotta get the full picture.
Yeah,
it's a dress and
with marigold heels. It's really cute. I like. But hey, your favorite street food, fellow foodie, what is it?
We choose. Okay.
Can we do it like a drum roll?
Drum roll. Number 3, 붕어빵.
붕어빵, but pat or
pat. So I used to be a little bit of a 초딩 입맛, like I had a kid's palate and was full out cream.
Oh.
But I think starting 2 years ago, it must have been the age.
It's the age.
It's the age. I started liking 팥빙수 as opposed to like the mango and the fruit bingsus.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm fully on board for the pat, the red bean 붕어빵. Yeah, so good. So
That's
good.
number 3.
And then you bring it home, and then you air fry it because it's extra crispy.
Right.
And then, by the way, speaking of Sejin's Choice hotdog, if you also bring that home, put that on a pan and go buy the square, the rectangular shaped vanilla ice cream. Yes, which tastes excellent.
But that's no longer street food. You got to eat it on the street. What about number 2?
All right, number 2, drum roll please. 순대.
Oh, 순대.
I love 순대. I love 순대. 간 빼고 주세요. 간만 빼고 다 주세요. And
What do
then
you dip it in?
the drum roll for number 1.
Okay.
떡볶이.
In that sauce,
yes,
right?
in the sauce. Yes.
Okay, can we go off air
This
now?
is
And
so
just,
extra.
We're so hungry.
This is so extra. Wow. All right. Yeah, we're done.
Okay,
We're
now
done.
that we're thoroughly hungry and
I'm done.
salivating.
We're gonna go
Yes,
and get
let's go.
food now.
And we got to get serious now. 이제 뉴스 시간이니까요.
Right.
Okay, we're going to continue with the Cambodia saga. First with the ongoing investigations.
So we have breaking news to start off with. According to the Foreign Ministry, a body of a South Korean man was found in Sihanoukville on Wednesday local time. So that was yesterday. This is all we're getting for now. So of course we'll have more for you as it comes in.
Yes.
However, we're going to go to a different murder. The murder of a South Korean university student who was found dead back in August. So South Korean coroners and inspectors, they arrived in Cambodia yesterday and conducted a joint autopsy on the body. And the autopsy took place inside a temple, actually, in central Phnom Penh, with about 50 police officers dispatched inside the temple. And the reason is because his body was cremated immediately after the autopsy. So it was more of it seems to be more of a respect thing. So the officials not only looked at the cause of the death, but also whether there had been any organ damage. The results, however, will have to go through official channels to be conveyed to the South Korean authorities here.
I see.
Again, the body was cremated and his remains should have arrived in Korea by this morning at 7 a.m. At least that was the schedule. And then coming back to what's happening here, 58 out of the 64 South Koreans who were extradited from this past weekend, they're facing arrest. Some are suspects in various scam operations, but also duly including victims who had been illegally detained or been under alleged coercion. However, acted as perpetrators in other scams nonetheless.
Yes, indeed. So that's, of course, the grisly part of this ongoing story. Now that the 64 South Koreans under official Cambodian custody are back on Korean soil, the task still remains to bring back those in illegal detention and or might be implicated in the scam industry.
Right. So the figure of 64 and another figure of 80 who are said to be in illegal detention, that just might be the tip of the iceberg. So the South Korean government estimates that some 200,000, we're talking globally, are involved in the Cambodian online scam industry. So this is a huge industry. Amongst them, at least about 1,000 South Korean nationals. This is according to National Security Advisor Wee Sung-rak, who said that this is a task that needs to be resolved in phases, steps, and also consistently.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. We don't have a full picture, not a full intel on the whereabouts of these South Koreans and whether they are there voluntarily or in illegal detention. There are only, again, about 80 for whom missing or detention reports have come through with the authorities. So this, I'm citing a Justice Ministry report submitted by Democratic Party lawmaker Park Chan-dae. It shows this discrepancy in the number of South Koreans who entered Cambodia versus those who returned home from Cambodia to at 3,248 last year. So there are over 3,000 people who have not come back for any reason. Some could be legitimate. But the figure was also at 2,000 to 3,000 for the past 2 years, 2022 and 2023.
Yes.
So those who are familiar with the local situation, they say that the real figure of South Koreans in criminal complexes in Cambodia may be far higher than this 1,000. So ultimately, though, it comes down to how closely we cooperate with the Cambodian authorities and work together.
Yes. But it's also been reported that for those who sought help with the Korean embassy, I guess some were turned down.
Right. So we're citing this one particular report of a man who was detained and escaped one of these criminal complexes in April. He got himself to the Korean embassy in Phnom Penh at 6 o'clock in the morning. However, in the video that he shared with the media, the embassy refused to let him in because it was before the opening hours of 8 a.m. So he begged to be let inside and even just in the parking lot. However, embassy employees didn't let him. And he claims that he had to just kind of hang outside for 2 hours, afraid that he might get caught.
Yes.
So following the controversy, the foreign ministry explained that, number one, it is working on the overall system to be able to provide consular services even outside the hours of operations at a consulate or an embassy.
Right.
The ministry said, though, regarding this particular case, the employee apparently guided the man to wait inside the security booth, and somebody came before 8 o'clock to assist him. He refutes this, actually, that the local security guard, he wasn't told of this, and he ultimately kicked him out. So he had to go to a convenience store, buy something frequently to stand by, and all the employees came right at 8.
I see. So that is at least one story.
Right.
Anyhow, we're going to move on for now. South Korean business leaders had apparently all gone to Florida to get try to get some time with U.S. President Donald Trump over the weekend. So what went down?
Right. So this was an event hosted by Japan's SoftBank CEO, Son Jung-hee. He hosted a golf tournament at the West Palm Beach Trump International Golf Club. Invited, of course, U.S. President Donald Trump, along with top business leaders from South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. So the very, very high-profile guest list from South Korea includes Samsung Electronics chair Lee Jae-yong, SK Group's chair Chae Tae-won, Hyundai Motors chair Jung Hee-sun, LG chair Gu Kwang-mo, so the top 4, plus Hanwha Group's vice president Kim Dong-kwan. So the South Korean leaders, none of them were put in the same group as Donald Trump, his group of 4, but those in the know say that each group had 1 U.S. official, 1 pro golfer, and 2 business leaders, and the list was shared in advance, so they knew full well whom they were going to be golfing with.
Okay.
The leaders are also told that they would get time with President Trump, which which is why all these tycoons got right on the plane to Florida.
So what did they discuss with President Trump?
Right. So reports say that the top 4 group leaders plus Vice President Kim discuss U.S. investments, but not tariffs. So they shared updates on what their respective groups are doing in terms of investments to the United States.
Okay.
And President Trump here apparently emphasized the importance of cooperation, especially in the shipbuilding sector. The business leaders, for their part, went to build trust with the U.S. president and the administration. The event went on for about 7 hours. Lee Jae-yong and Chae Tae-won immediately returned to Korea afterwards, which shows how important they deemed this one particular event to be.
Indeed, indeed. All right, up next, I talked about the credit card overdue loan figures early on in the program, and I hear you have some other economic statistics.
Right. So what you talked about in the opening were kind of individual loans. We're going to talk about the bigger picture, the macro GDP. So the country's gross domestic product per capita. Not good news, it's actually looking to go down this year. So according to the Bank of Korea, the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, projected South Korea's per capita GDP, that's 1인당 총 생산량, to $35,962 for this year. It's in the latest World Economic Outlook report.
Yes.
That's a 0.8% decrease from the year before. And the overall list, in the list of 197 economies, it puts South Korea in 37th place. We were at 34th place last year.
Okay.
This is actually going to be a flip with Taiwan, which is actually projected to go from 38th last place to 35th this place. So Taiwan is set to overtake South Korea for the first time in 22 years.
I see. So what about for the next few years? Do we have projections?
Right. So a complicated mix of things. So looking at South Korea's sheer numbers, the IMF projects that South Korea will hit over $40,000 per capita by 2028. That's good news. This is actually a year earlier than its earlier projection back in April. However, compared to other countries, the ranking will actually keep dropping to 40th place in 2028. 41st by 2029.
Yes.
By the way, looking at the full picture, Liechtenstein in Europe is set to be the first in terms of GDP this year, a whopping $231,000 per capita.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a stark difference.
Right.
Yes, yes. All right. For our final international story, let's get the latest on the precarious Gaza ceasefire.
Right. So the ceasefire went through its first major test over the weekend earlier this week, but it seems to have survived. So definitely fingers crossed on this front.
Okay.
So earlier on Sunday, Israel carried out a series of strikes across Gaza. It accused Hamas of carrying out an attack that killed 2 Israeli soldiers. And this is the first time time that Israeli troops were killed in under the ceasefire.
Yes.
So Israel, for its part, its airstrikes and strikes killed at least 44 people in Gaza. Both sides playing the blame game, raising concerns of, is the ceasefire going to fall through? Thankfully, though, the two sides have kind of come to cooler heads. The Israeli Defense Forces said in a statement it's going to begin a renewed enforcement of the ceasefire.
Yes.
Hamas's military wing also saying they remain committed to the ceasefire and rejected involvement on the attack of the Israeli forces. Hamas also handed over a body of what it says to be a deceased Israeli hostage. So this is another precarious issue. Israel is demanding more or less an immediate return of all the bodies. Hamas saying a lot of the bodies are under ruins in Gaza.
Yes.
Israel, for its part, it's saying it's going to resume the delivery of aid back into Gaza. Again, this is all part one. Phase 2 and more, U.S. officials Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, they've arrived in the region to begin pushing forward for the next phase in the ceasefire.
Yes, yes. So that's where we are. Thanks for covering all the top stories. And we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, it is now time for our first song of the morning. And while we are still salivating over all the street foods that you're mentioning, and I'll read your comments in a bit, how about Sugar by Maroon 5?
I want that sugar sweet. Don't let nobody touch it unless that somebody's me. I gotta be a man, there ain't no other way. 'Cause girl, you're hotter than a Southern California day. I don't wanna play no games, you don't gotta be afraid. Don't give me all that shy shit, no makeup on, that's my sugar. Yes, please. Come and
time for Wave Sports. And there's just too much red in the studio today. There's too much red. I'm blinded.
Sorry to class this place up a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Bring a little color into your life.
Yes. I have a question for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite street food?
Here in Korea?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Be honest. You don't have to say I love tteokbokki.
The reason, I mean, I do love tteokbokki, but I feel like it just depends. Like if I'm in Myeongdong and Seoul, street food is like upper echelon lobster tails and stuff.
You can get lobster's tail.
So I think I'm pretty. I'm an easygoing person. I'm gonna go with a Busan original.
Which one?
And then say shiat hotak.
Can you say that slowly?
Shiat hotak.
Shiat
hotak. What did you think I said?
I can't say it. Don't pull me off air.
Well, I didn't say whatever you think I said.
You speak slower, Andrew.
Shiat
hotak.
Tteokbokki? Shiat tteokbokki might be a new one. There you go. You're right down in Nampodong.
Can you stop saying that word? It's making me like sweat because okay. So, that's really good. I have so many or chicken skewers or things like that. Or, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's a little bit different that maybe our listeners or a listener not in Korea might not know. But I don't know. I think it's, you always see like the stickers and everything, and they got kind of like the street food all locked up on those. But speaking of Myeongdong, when the last time I went, it was during summer, which was really good, was the fresh pomegranate juice.
Oh,
they literally squeeze it for you like right in front of you, so they don't add anything.
Exactly.
No, I mean it's just
unless they're injecting it into the thing.
They can, right? It's like in a little.
Yeah.
But I mean that was like whoa.
Yeah, there was. What did I have up there the last time? It was some kind of noodle dish. I don't think it was actually Korean. But it was, made right in front of me, which was pretty amazing as well. But yeah, lobster tails in the middle of winter.
They have it. All right. We're going to jump into Wave Sports. What do you have for us?
Yeah. So we have a few things to get to. The reason I'm wearing a jacket today is for two reasons. First one is an interview that will be played here in a few minutes.
Okay.
And the second is that the Toronto Blue Jays right now are not yet. I guess it's 9:00 our time here in Korea. We'll play in Game 7 against the Seattle Mariners in the ALCS. So this is just to try to give them a little bit of hope.
Does it matter? Dodgers all the way.
And I'm a Red Sox fan, but I just cheer for the Canadian team. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to kick off here with some talk about the Korea National Sports Festival. Now, right here in Busan, the host city has surged to the top of the overall standings.
Really?
At the 106th National Sports Festival. There's a caveat to this, so let me get to it.
Okay.
Holding first place with 20,445 points. Now, you're probably wondering, points? Why points?
Yes.
Usually it's medal count. Well, if we went into the medal count, they are down the list. They have 166 in the medal count. But because the way it works is it's a point system.
Ooh.
For every medal you get a certain amount of points. But since Busan is the host city, you get some bonus points.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, 20% extra, actually.
That's why we're number one?
No, I'm saying that's helping us. That's helping us.
Okay.
All right. But, so Gyeonggi actually is in the lead here with 94 gold. So they lead. I think they have a total of 266 medals, I believe it is.
Okay.
But because the way that Busan's team is set up, it's very balanced and across the board, they've been doing very well. That's why we're ahead in the points, but only slightly. I think it's Gyeonggi province is only behind us. It's less than 300 points. Ooh. So, yeah, we could, we got to keep it going here, T.
Yes.
Keep it going.
T Busan.
Exactly. So among the stand-up performers is Kim Ji-yoon of Busan Girls High School, captured 3 gold medals.
Oh.
And this is all in some dance events here. So we have aerobics and hip-hop dance events. And becoming the festival's first, kind of breakout star. There's also some breaking things, which I think is pretty amazing. And these are things that we don't usually get to see.
Yes.
Especially from high school students.
I know.
Which is awesome.
I love it.
Now, the Busan Environmental Corporation Sepak Takraw team extended their dominance with both men's and women's teams winning their 8th straight championship.
Yay.
Amazing. Keep it going. Now, in weightlifting, Yu Won-ju broke a festival record with a 183 kg total lift to claim gold. I mean, that's a lot of kgs. All right. Well, young swimmer Park Woo-min from Busan Sports High added another gold in the 200-meter butterfly.
Wow.
Yeah. Great stuff. All right. So, I think, as I said, the depth across all the sports is really helping us stay at that top spot. And also, the crowds have been very, very good. The opening ceremonies last Friday was an overwhelming success.
Yes.
And around the city, I've been driving around the past couple of days and I've been just noticing, as we talked about before, there's signs everywhere, which is awesome. Keep it up, team and spectators.
Indeed. Well, now we're going to move on to an event that you went to over the weekend. I saw all the posts on social media. I was, liking your posts. Yeah. What's going on? What happened?
All right. So I attended the only LPGA event that's held here in South Korea. Now, Korean star Kim Se-young thrilled home fans by winning the BMW Ladies Championship at Pine Beach Golf Links in Haenam, Jeollanam-do over the weekend. She finished with a minus 24. She went wire to wire, led from Thursday to Sunday in a week where you wouldn't have expected that. And that's because, and I'll get to it in a couple minutes here, but the conditions, we thought it was going to be a roller coaster. And she said, hold my drink. And just went to town. It was pretty amazing. So it was really, really dominant, especially in her final round with a bogey-free round, which I don't know how many I should have checked this actually, how many golfers actually had bogey-free rounds on the weekend. The conditions on Sunday were much better, though. So I think that did help a lot of golfers. We saw some -8s, -9s for the day, which we definitely were seeing on Friday and Saturday because of the conditions. All right. So, I believe she took home, I think it was a prize of $345,000 USD. But it was her consistency across the week that really kept it up. Some photos on the screen here if you're watching on NoTube. This is Im Jin-hee. This was on a par 3 and her ball.
We can't tell, Andrew.
Almost went exactly.
It's beautiful, the scenery, and then there's a golfer.
She was standing on that, cement, whatever wall. Her ball landed there. It was like less than half a meter from the water.
Play it as it lies.
Yeah,
is the rule.
Sparks flying off her club, which is pretty cool. All right, and there's the picture up here now is the par 3, one of their signature holes here, I guess.
Yes, it's
where
beautiful.
If you get a hole in one, you win a car. There were no hole-in-ones over the weekend.
Oh.
I tell you, the conditions. All right, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, such beautiful pictures, though. So thank you.
That's all me. Those are mine.
Andrew, I know.
Those are mine. If you'd like to use them, get in touch with me. They only cost you $1 million.
I was trying to give you credit.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Andrew, for the photos.
Yes, exactly.
So how was the event overall? Because I saw one of your photos. It looked like you had a chance to speak to at least one of the golfers.
Yeah, so I think the event itself was fantastic. It always is. The atmosphere was great. Again, it was kind of, I've never been to this area of the country, which is really cool. And I feel like each time you're kind of out in the countryside, obviously at a golf course. But again, it was really challenging because of the wind and the coastal conditions. Now, I did have a chance to speak to Canadian Brooke Henderson after her final round, and we'll get to a clip here now. Andrew Murphy here with BEFM Sports with Brooke Henderson, Canadian LPGA golfer. Brooke, how would you sum up your week here in Korea so far?
I've been super excited to be able to play here in Korea, so it's been awesome to be here and be amongst the culture, and my great friend MJ lives here, so it was great to catch up with her the last couple days, and I feel like there's a lot of positives to take away from my golf game. I feel like I got off to a pretty hot start the first couple days. I was making a lot of birdies and making a lot of putts, which felt nice. Unfortunate to, not play a little bit better today, but at the end of the day, I feel like there's lots of good things to take, and I'm excited to play next week closer to Seoul.
What a nice person to actually speak to you.
Yeah. She didn't have a chance. She came out of the scores room and I was like, hi.
I'm Canadian.
Not like that. But I followed her for like 3 days, essentially. I was watching her and then going to a different hole and stuff.
I see.
And I had on, in the picture, I have on my Canada hat.
Yeah.
And there was her sister actually is her caddy, and they recognized the hat. I mean, when you see the flag, being the only Canadian in the field as well.
Yes.
So it was, just trying to show some support.
No. We fully appreciate you being there, getting us the inside scoop.
Yeah.
We really
good.
enjoy it. Okay. So, by the way, before I move on, I do want to mention 태진님 because he was actually at one of the track and field events. 육상 직접 가서 보니 너무너무 박진감 넘치고 재밌어. He was saying it was so much fun and it was really exciting being on scene. And so other people are commenting like, oh, they wish they could go, but some, with work and all, it's
sure. I've talked to a few people and they said the exact same thing as well.
Yes. So let's move on to our next event.
Yeah, so the golf in Korea is not finished yet.
Oh, it's not, yeah.
So the 2025 Hanwha LIFEPLUS International Crown tees off this weekend in Goyang, kind of like where it was, where the LPGA event was last year. Not the same course, but in the same area. So this year event brings a powerful lineup representing South Korea, the States, that's the United States, sorry, and Japan, Thailand, Sweden, Australia, China, and for the first time, Team World.
Yes.
A special edition featuring top-ranked players from across arenas that did not have enough for to qualify as a national team.
Yes.
I actually asked Brooke about this because she is part of the event, and we're going to get to a second clip here. That was my next question. You're not quite done with Korea yet. You're representing Canada for Team World in the International Crown. How does your game change in the sense of preparation or mindset from individual game to the team format?
For sure. I'm really proud to be on the world team. I think that's super cool. The first time that it's ever been a team. And so I'm happy to get invited. And our team's pretty strong and, great people and great players. So I'm looking forward to that kind of team aspect. But I think a strong team is made up of strong individuals. So if we can all go out and play our best games ourselves and make a lot of birdies, then I think our team will do pretty well.
Thank you very much and good luck next week.
Thank you.
So that's coming up this weekend, right?
This weekend, yes. So from the 23rd to the 26th. And so her team, Team World, is Charlie Hall from the UK or England, Lydia Ko from New Zealand, Brooke Henderson, and Wei Lin Su from Taiwan. Now, obviously, I'm going to be rooting for Team Korea as well.
Yes.
Settle down, everybody. And that is made up of Kim Hyo-ju, Ru Hae-ran, Ko Jin-young, and Chae Hae-jin. 3 golfers who all really finished this event last weekend strong. Ko Jin-young had like a rough first 3 days and finished -8 on Sunday.
Okay.
Kim Hyo-ju was mediocre on Saturday and was consistent as can be on Sunday.
Okay.
And then also Chae Hae-jin, she was unbelievable on Sunday. I think it was -9. So, really strong, hopefully leading into this. I was looking at some of the photos from the kickoff event yesterday.
Yes.
And people are excited. They all have when you get to represent your country as well. So, I'm also a big fan of some of the Thai girls as well, like Gino Tidikal. I think she's electric on the course. So it'll be interesting to watch this event.
Yes.
And then I'm kind of jealous for everyone who's going to be able to be up there. I could have gone, but I don't think I would have had a house to come home to, but that's all right. 2 weekends in a row.
Change the door lock.
So yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Sure.
It's about snacks.
Oh,
do you know the difference between 붕어빵 and 잉어빵?
No. I've had this question before.
Yeah.
So 붕어빵 has pot. And 빵, is that the one
잉어빵.
with
They're both fish.
Is it? Oh, sorry. Is it with the custard?
No. I looked it up on the internet.
Okay.
The AI feature tells me it's the batter that's different. Because there was a question on our board, so I wanted to finish it off with this. Yes. The 잉어빵은 찹쌀과 그 기름 그 버터가 추가되는 거고요. So there's it's made with the rice flour.
Yes.
Whereas the other one, the 붕어빵, it's made with just 밀가루, the plain flour. I didn't know.
Is one more expensive than the other typically, or do some places try to pass off one for the other?
I have no idea, but I just know that as long as they are crispy on the outside and warm on the inside.
Crispy is the key.
That is the key.
Crispy is the key. Yeah, yes. I thought it might have been the filling, but yeah. So, no. But yeah, thank you for everyone. Also, thank you to my partner in crime, Jeff Leach from HAPS as well for tagging along all weekend. We had a great weekend. It was fun and providing each other with some content.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being out there and go Canada. And we'll check in with you next week. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Everybody, this was Wave Sports. We love all the little, the jabbing going on. Final song for hour number 1 is Viva La Vida by Coldplay. So enjoy and be back at 8.
said rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. One minute I held the key, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, once you go there was never an honest word. That was when I ruled the world. It was the wicked and wild wind, blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become, and revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate, just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever wanna be king? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name, never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the world.
재난으로 대부분의 의료시설은 파괴되었고 의약품도 부족해 간단히 치료할 수 있는 질병으로 사망에 이르는 상황입니다. 바로 지금이 우리가 에티오피아에 진 빚을 갚을 때입니다. 지금 전화해주세요. 후원 문의 080-982-0119 국제구조위원회.
기업체 사장님들 아직도 직영으로 식당 운영하고 계십니까? 위탁급식과 도시락 전문기업 더 좋은 푸드에 맡겨보십시오. 운영비 절감 효과 확실합니다. 식대는 협의 후 맞춰드립니다. 지역 부산 경남 051-784-0877 051-784-0877.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It's now 8 o'clock. Welcome back. This is Spotlight News. DP presents Major Court Reform Bill. The Democratic Party, or DP's Judicial Reform Special Committee, announced plans to expand the number of justices from the current 14 to 26, expected to be fiercely debated in the political and judicial circles. The proposal also includes a trial petition system where citizens could appeal the Constitutional Court's rulings, effectively creating a 4-tier judicial system. DP leader Chung Chung-nae said that the measures will guarantee constitutional rights and provide remedies for judicial harm. The opposition People Power Party, or PPP, accused the DP of seeking to turn the judiciary into a subordinate of political power. Two more South Koreans rescued in Cambodia. Foreign Minister Cho Hyun said that the Cambodian police rescued 2 additional South Korean nationals under illegal detention and arrested 10 others in a crackdown against online scams. The Foreign Ministry announced it is conducting a full survey into South Koreans allegedly involved in online scams worldwide, and that it will add 40 consular staff members to help handle such issues. In the meantime, the South Korean and the Cambodian police held a high-ranking officials meeting yesterday in Seoul and agreed to form a 24-hour hotline. President pledges full support for defense R&D. President Lee Jae-myung yesterday vowed to inject an unprecedented budget for defense and aerospace research and development, or R&D, by 2030 to establish key defense technology and space capabilities. He, during a speech at the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition 2025, unveiled his vision to make South Korea a top 4 defense power in the world. The president said that the proposed spending will go toward development technologies while pledging sweeping reforms in policy and regulation. Teacher sentenced to life for student's murder. The Daejeon Regional Court yesterday sentenced Myung Jae-won, a teacher who murdered a 7-year-old student, to a life sentence. Yesterday, the court called the case an unprecedented one of an elementary school teacher brutally murdering a young victim at school, where the victim should have been at her safest. Myung was also ordered to wear an electronic monitoring device for 30 years and given a restraining order against the victim's family. Amazon Web Service outage causes global platform disruptions. A malfunction at Amazon Web Services caused outages for major global platforms including Zoom, Lyft, Duolingo, and Roblox. Reports put the number of affected companies as 1,000, as a massive number of companies rely on Amazon for their internet services. Amazon said it has pinpointed the cause and fixed the underlying problem, but added there are still significant errors for some services. Experts forecast that the question of responsibility could end up in courts. And this was Spotlight News. It's time to Wagga Wagga. Haley's back.
Hello, hello.
Yes, yes. Well, let's talk about this first issue. You know, here in Korea, we are very sensitive about education and things like the military. This one is about education. The country's university council is under fire for these extravagant conferences that they've been holding.
Right. An interestingly different facet of education, not about fairness or admissions, but how much money are you spending?
Exactly.
And where's that money coming from? So the Korean Council for University Education, in Korean that's 한국대학교육협의회, it consists of university presidents and chancellors from across the country. It's been pointed out that this council has been using its funds.
Yes.
The funds are paid for by students via their tuition to hold these fancy conferences at fancy hotels. So this is, according to the council's report, it's spending report requested by lawmaker Baek Seung-ah of the Parliamentary Education Committee.
Yes.
So let's look at some numbers. From January 2022 to this July, the council has held 23 out of its 24 regular board members, general conferences, and presidential seminars at hotels.
Yes.
So it allocated a 650 million won budget for these conferences taken out of the funds, again paid for by the students' tuition.
Right.
And these events, though, they seem to be getting fancier and fancier. At least, what am I basing this on? The per person meal budget. Back in 2022, fairly reasonable, although still nice, at 60,000 won per person. 1인당 6만 원.
Okay.
6만 원 will get you a nice meal. But 195,000 won last year. 19만 5천 원.
That's per person.
What are you eating? I mean, speaking of lobster tails and stuff, like, what are you eating?
Wow.
Yeah.
So again, the problem is that it's the students who are ultimately footing the bill, and students, aka the parents.
Right. You have
I have two.
You have a couple, right? I have not mine, but I have an adjacent one, right? And serious tuition keeps rising.
It does.
And I swear that the top digits changed ever since she's been in school. Right.
Yes.
So the University Council officially announced that it is raising the fees, citing a decline in the student age demographic. But this also comes as universities have raised their tuition, citing financial difficulties. But then this leads to the question of, well, where's the money going to, and why are you having these financial difficulties? So lawmaker Baek called this wasteful spending and called for a more transparent and responsible execution of this budget.
Yes, I concur. Well, while we're on the topic of universities, we're going to continue with our next story. You know, students, they are already planning jumping in on these winter break special classes. So can you explain?
The weather has barely turned, but it is time for some students to really start thinking about what are you going to do this winter break?
Yes.
And unfortunately, in the case of South Korea, it's not about ski trips and vacations. It's about what private academy 학원 special classes are you taking? And registration is now. So major private academies have opened up their registration for their wintertime classes. So these so-called winter schools, there are summer schools and then there are winter schools. These are usually 1 month long programs from late December. It's a full day of classes. We're talking 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. By the way, that's because 10 p.m. is the legal cutoff line for when students can be in private academies. But then some of them, many of them offer dorm-style accommodations. So who knows what goes on behind those doors. And these are expensive, of course, because you're there for longer than a workday plus lodging. For 4 weeks, it goes to 2 million won, about average. 5 weeks, over 3 million won. And this could be a lot more.
Yes.
But demand, as it's always been, is way high. Already many of the classes are sold out and many students are on the wait list. So experts say these intensive classes, of course, if you're gonna corral all students into a 4-week program and make them study for 4 weeks, of course that could have a short-term effect. However, when we're looking at the mid to long term, it could add to the academic stress and then burnout.
Yes. So that's how important education is, though. There you have it. All right, we're going to go back to the story about the Louvre. We mentioned it briefly yesterday, so we need further details. What went down in the heist from Sunday?
Because the more and more we delve into the story, the more and more baffling it is. I mean, it's the Louvre. So we all heard about the robbery or heist from French authorities. This is what we know.
Okay.
It was quote, a clearly professional gang that broke into the Louvre's Apollo Gallery Sunday morning. They say they knew what they wanted and evidently cased a joint, meaning they've come here before, looked at all the layout in advance, had a brazenly simple but effective plan, taking only 7 minutes. So what a truck. A truck with an elevating platform. In Korea, we call that 사다리차, so a ladder mounted onto a truck.
Yes.
Used by moving companies, quite commonly seen in Paris. So they parked it outside, raised themselves up to the first floor, used a disc cutter, this is very Mission Impossible, to break into the window. And then once inside, they smashed the cases and just took the jewels.
Wow.
So the alarm sounded correctly, according to the Culture Ministry. 5 museum staff members were in the gallery. They followed protocol and they protected visitors and contacted security forces. The gang apparently tried to set fire to the vehicle outside, but they were prevented by a museum staff member. Again, as I mentioned yesterday, 8 pieces of jewels worn by French royals historically have been stolen. So that's quite interesting. Their manhunt is underway. They're still chasing after the thieves. The French government said it's a possibility. These are skilled individuals. That's an understatement. But they also might be foreign nationals.
Right. But once again, it sounds like literally straight out of a movie. So while these, thieves might have been professional, it's still shocking that the Louvre, once again, the Louvre.
I mean, it's the biggest, one of the biggest, if not the biggest museum in the world. Just the amount of precious artifacts it has. Fine, the thieves are professionals, but shouldn't you have been as well is the question. This, by the way, is the most spectacular robbery that the Louvre has seen since the theft of the Mona Lisa back in 1911. And here's the bigger, more serious question. What is the state of security at this French museum? Especially at a time when these museums are being increasingly targeted by criminal gangs.
Yes.
And also, contrary to what we may think, these museum heists often don't involve high-profile paintings unless making a wave is the goal. In this case, not that I'm giving tips, but for monetary financial gains, thieves prefer items that can be converted into cash, aka jewelry, because you might not be able to sell a crown on the black market.
Because they know what it is.
Because they know, because it's a crown. But you can take the jewels apart piece by piece and sell each piece of diamond, sapphire, and whatnot. Of course, that's going to take down the value of the entire piece, but it is what it is.
Yes.
By the way, according to the local media, of course, we'll report more on this, the Louvre apparently cut down on 15% of its staff in the past decade, and the security department has warned the museum about the risk of theft and other malicious activities.
So that's the Louvre, but this wasn't the only high-profile heist. Even in the last week? Are you serious?
Right. So again, this is what I'm talking about in terms of art being a bigger target right now. Picasso went missing. And the Spanish police are investigating the case. The painting is Naturaleza Muerta con Guitarra, still life with guitar, worth 600,000 euros or 1 billion won. The painting belongs to a private collector. And you might say 1 billion won, 10억, not bad for a Picasso. I don't have that money, but someone. I mean, I'm saying ship for Picasso because it's like under 13 centimeters by 10 centimeters. It's small. She's small.
Tiny.
Right. It was due to go to a new exhibition, but mysteriously vanished. So here's the timeline. And we're getting comments like Im Sung-hwan-nim saying he just saw an animated series about like an art theft, and this comes right out of it. So the Caja Granada Foundation, which put on the exhibition, they got the van carrying the art at 10 a.m. that day of the theft. The contents were unloaded and checked. So when it arrived, it was there. And then they had to do, some of them were not numbered well, but the delivery was signed off. Following Monday, the pieces, they were unpacked, moved into different parts of the exhibition. And on that day, the staff noticed this piece was missing.
Oh, dear.
At that point, they alerted the police. So there were a couple days where the art was unaccounted for. By the way, Picasso's works, because Picasso was such a prolific artist, there are so many pieces, very popular target for the thieves, including from his descendants' home.
Yes.
Famously, in 1997, a gunman walked into a central London art gallery and stole one of his works, and then just took a taxi. The work was later recovered.
Taking a taxi after stealing a Picasso.
Wild.
All right. Well, we're going to set the artwork and stolen pieces from the Louvre aside. We're going to end it on a delicious note, very much going hand in hand with our text topic. It's about Korean street snacks, one in particular.
And this is what's really interesting.
Yes.
I've barely seen this particular snack mentioned, but it's 계란빵, the egg bread. Now recognize, by the way, I know you guys are so hungry because we're talking about food again. Don't blame me, blame CNN. They're the reason we're talking about it. Because CNN has recognized 계란빵 as one of the 50 best breads around the world, calling it buried treasure within every loaf. So 계란빵 is, they say, a favorite in the streets of Seoul, eaten hot for breakfast or any other time of day. You can add ham, cheese, chopped parsley with a savory twist to the sweet and salty treat, a belly-warming snack that keeps South Korea fueled through the country's long winters. Ooh, so 계란빵, definitely, if you're hearing like the echo of stomachs growling, this is why. But hey, breakfast idea.
꼬르륵 소리 났나요? I apologize. This is a new show, I promise. But thank you for going over all the Woggly stories. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
See you tomorrow.
All right, I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's now 8:15. Here's your traffic update. First up, 충렬대로 is congested from Haenam intersection to Mandak Tunnel number 2. It's backed up on 충장대로 from pier number 5 to pier number 4. There's traffic on Hakjanglo from the Busan Detention Center to Hakjang intersection. And let me remind you of the road closures this morning because of the National Sports Festival Half Marathon going on from 10:30 to 11:50 a.m. spanning the Asiad Stadium, Geoje, 교대 stations, Yeonsan intersection Cheonpo, and also Munhyun intersection. So if you're going anywhere near these areas, you might have to take a detour. Please check ahead of time. Also for our weather, it's 16 degrees Celsius under cloudy skies. It's going to go up to just 19 today. Across the nation, big temperature drops compared to previous year, same time of the year, with morning lows of 5 degrees in Seoul, Incheon, Suwon with strong winds. The daytime high, it's going to go anywhere from 13 to 20, depending on where you are. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for your special interview. So, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman recently sparked a global debate with his latest announcement. As interest grows in how AI can engage in romantic or even sexual conversations, OpenAI plans to introduce mature content for adult users like erotica for verified adults, marking a major shift in how the company approaches user expression. So this move has drawn both curiosity and concern, raising questions about how AI should navigate intimacy and emotional boundaries. So today we're going to explore the ethical implications of this decision and what it could spell out for the future of human-AI relationships. So joining us is once again Professor Daryl Lim, who's an Associate Dean for Research and Innovation and Founding Director of the Intellectual Property Law and Innovation Initiative at Penn State Dickinson Law. Hi, welcome back, Professor. I hope you're doing well.
Good morning, Kat, and good morning to your waivers. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. So, Professor, what considerations do you think influence OpenAI's decision to introduce this policy at this time?
Well, OpenAI says it's time to, quote, treat adults like adults. So it's announced, as you alluded to, from December this year, it will allow mature erotic content for verified adult users. But behind that statement, I think lies several shifting dynamics that's worth unpacking. First, there's in fact a competitive race in AI companionship. So OpenAI may feel the pressure to retain users and engagement. And there's also a belief that earlier restrictions made the tool a little less useful and engaging than its users liked, a view that the technical and moderation safeguards, on the other hand, are now mature enough to roll out this adult mode safely. And so it claims it's got more robust tools for age verification, mental health safeguards, and moderation.
Yes. Well, I'm very curious, Professor, because when I first heard this announcement, I was kind of like, oh, I was a little surprised. And then my next question was, what exactly does this mean? Erotica for adults. And I know, as he said, treating adults like adults. Are we talking about conversations with, for example, OpenAI, the chatbot, about sexual things? Or what does this mean, erotica?
Well, I think we'll have to wait and see what the full scope of it is. Press release articles I've read span a gamut. You have text chats, you have the audio version of it, but also the possibility, because as you know, OpenAI has also developed graphic and video tools.
Yes.
The possibility of creating pornographic videos and erotic videos.
I see. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I guess in December we'll know. So what kind of social consequences could arise from applying this principle, treating adults like adults, to AI-generated erotic for adults? So I want to know about the social consequences.
Well, so first, let's talk about freedoms. Treating adults like adults means you give them more freedom. Freedom to do what? You give them freedom to privately express themselves, possibly forming new types of intimacy or companionship, especially for individuals who are socially isolated. But of course, as we know, freedom also comes with responsibility. And what we might see as a result and need to be aware of is that there may become a normalization of AI erotic companionship models. And that's going to shift our cultural expectations of intimacy. It's going to challenge existing norms around human connection.
Yes.
And of course, it's going to risk objectifying or commodifying this whole idea of companionship.
Yes.
And when all this becomes widespread, and it will inevitably reinforce undesirable behaviors. And so that these are dangers that we need to be aware of.
Indeed. And I'm sure many people are also concerned about the technical and regulatory safeguards that, first of all, will this be enough to prevent children and teens from gaining access to such content? Because, let's look back on history. Children and teens are pretty good at, getting through the safe walls.
You're absolutely right. And I take that analogy one step further. Think of it as a castle. You have a moat, you've got a drawbridge, you've got the gatekeeper, but as long as one of them fails, your castle is not safe. And so we know, first of all, that laws vary by country. And when you have something like AI, it's going to be global. And you just need one break in that link. Also, as you alluded to, teenagers are very tech savvy. They can spoof age verification.
Yes.
Students may share accounts, and they could even use virtual networks to mask their locations. So whether you're a regulator and especially whether if you are a parent, because parents are the first line of defense, you need to see this as a layered defense approach.
Yes. And so in terms of the safeguards, what do you think is going to be essential, really important to really protect minors and vulnerable users as well?
Well, so I pick up from where I just left off. Really need robust age verification. If this is going to be a useful tool for adults, then we need to make sure that we keep it to adults and that minors don't have access to it. How you can match the real world identity of the user, well, that's the challenge. Then, of course, you need, secondly, parental controls, because the parents are the ones who are interacting most intimately with their children.
Yes.
And third, I think by design, there should be some kind of exclusion by default. So the adult mode of ChatGPT should not be so easily accessible. It should be off in a corner, sort of like you have erotica in a bookstore. It's not together with the main stream books. And then finally, continuous human oversight. This is something which will require a concerted approach by regulators, by the companies themselves, but really by all of us in society.
Yes.
And there needs to be some kind of accountability, whether a publishing requirement of how many underage attempts to block, how many misuse cases arose, so that there is that level of accountability between the service provider and the rest of us.
Right. And so speaking of that accountability, Professor, to what extent should companies be held liable for harm caused by such, inappropriate use if there isn't enough in terms of the protection and the layers, as you say, gatekeeping, this type of mature content from underage users?
So at the basic level, we talk about foreseeability. If the harm is foreseeable and the safeguards are inadequate, then, well, here in the United States, we call this a breach of a duty of care. There's negligence involved.
Yes.
But what happens when you have psychological harm? I think that's the more difficult question. So if you have an adult that uses the adult mode of ChatGPT and suffers some kind of harm, whether it's addiction, whether it's relational harm, whether it's emotional dependency, is OpenAI responsible? And I think that's a more difficult question. But what we can say is that there needs to be sufficient disclosure of these risks. There needs to be a way to opt out of them and safety tools.
So
at the same time, I would say just very quickly also that we need to be aware that over-regulation can kill innovation. The last time you and I spoke, we briefly alluded to this in the context of Korea's new AI law.
Yes.
And there's always that tension between how much tight do you want to control the tech companies before it stifles innovation.
That's true. As an expert, what kind of advice would you give to the general public, not just for parents who are trying to safeguard their children, for adults who might be interested in using this type of erotica later on when it does come out for, AI safety and to use it responsibly?
Right. So I think that's the key word, responsibly. Recognize that it's a tool and therefore it also has limits. It should supplement, it should not substitute human relationships. There's exchange of data. You need to be aware of the data that you are giving.
Yes.
And of course, it's addictive. And so you need to monitor the time that you spend on it. And education, I think, is going to be crucial, whether it's educating the minors, the youths who are vulnerable, or the families who, again, are the first line of defense. And then finally, I'd say, stay informed because policies change, technology changes. What is safe and benign today, for example, like today's ChatGPT, may not be quite so benign in 2 months' time, and that's going to continue to evolve.
Right. I do have a final question for you before I let you go, Professor, because I'm also curious as to when they announce this. People, in your sphere, you're an expert in your field. What's been the reaction like when OpenAI and the CEO Sam Altman announced this about this whole mature content to be unveiled maybe in December? What was the reaction like? What were people saying?
Well, I don't think people were too surprised because at the end of the day, it's a company and the company needs to continue to engage its customer base.
Yes.
We always hope that companies will behave in a moral, upright, responsible way. We hope that's still the case with OpenAI, but they're always looking for ways to monetize their content, ways to get ahead of the competition, as we started our conversation with. And that temptation is always there. You have different factions within the company pushing the agenda one way or the other. In this case, it's the pro-erotica faction, if I can put it that way, that said, let's try this. XAI has done this. Elon Musk has done this. Why don't we try it and see how we can do better?
I see. Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and opinions with our listeners today. And take care, Professor.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye. Once again, this was Professor Daryl Lim, and we talked about the ethics of AI intimacy, whether it's with this particular company or with others as well. And as the professor pointed out, to be responsible, as anything of this nature can be very addictive. And of course, of utmost is to protect our young ones. All right, let's get to our song break. This is Dancing in the Moonlight by Toploader.
When that moon is big and bright, it's a supernatural delight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody here is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. They keep their clues to keep it tight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody
Was anybody singing along to that song? Love it. Like that mid-tempo kind of song. Going back to your messages, today we're talking about your favorite street foods. Ooh, and I have a message. Actually, this is not regarding the text topic, but I got to talk about this message because Taejin earlier was talking about the fact that he went to the National Sports Festival. He went to a track and field event with his lovely kids, and we have a photo of the event. Do you see that little blue circle left side of the screen? That's apparently him. So, yeah, we're posting it. The reason why we're posting it, I love the fact that you are being supportive of this huge event that's in Busan. We're so proud to be hosting. So thank you for that. And also, we have Leslie who texted in, and she sent in these photos. And she says, 4 of my favorites, but I will always choose tteokbokki first. So, what is that? 이게 뭐죠? Oh, it's the 탕후루, but it looks like tangerine. Ooh, tangerines are so good. And then we also have from her, if we can get the next one. Ooh, the 계란빵 that we were talking about that, that news outlet says is one of the top food snacks in Korea, 계란빵. And right next to it is the Korean style hot dogs. Or we call them corn dogs in the States, right? Ooh, so delish. By the way, when you get the 그거 핫도그 먹을 때요, the one that's, the corn dog, like, do you put the sugar on or do you just add the ketchup or whatever? They have all the delicious sauces. And my producer is shaking her head. She's like, no, sugar, right? She definitely wants the sugar. And Bonnie says, no sugar. She just wants the condiment, like the ketchup or the mustard. Well, definitely we are thankful for the photos. But now we're going to get into some of your other responses real quick. I really see a lot of the 붕어빵 and 잉어빵s. Those are some of the top choices. Tteokbokki is another common one. And Taejin also mentioned a brand of sundae that I can't mention, but that brand, they're coming to my apartment today, every Tuesday. So I'm going to have some tonight. You guys have... and then the whole debate between 간 and 노간. Do you like the liver? Do you not like the liver? Also very interesting as well. And now we're going to get to Bonnie and get her take, not just on the snacks, but of course, we're going to find out what's up for Simply Sustainable. I'll be back with her in a moment. It's time for Simply Sustainable. Bonnie's here.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. So we want your take on favorite street foods here in Korea. So you are team no sugar on the corn dog or hot dog, right?
No, I'm team no sugar on anything that actually is salty in the States that we use, like garlic bread and pizza. Like I don't like the koguma on the pizza.
Oh, I don't like the koguma on the pizza
I like to keep everything savory. So on the hot, just ketchup and mustard and not the sweet mustard.
Oh, not the honey mustard.
No, I want the yellow mustard.
Ooh, the tangy mustard.
Yes.
Yum. But let's set the hot dog aside. What's your favorite?
Oh, cannot ever sway away from the hot dog.
The hot dog.
Yes. Ever since I was little, that was my favorite Korean snack. And every time we would see one of the little booths, I would get one. But since moving here, it's funny, I don't allow myself to get it every time I see it because the lines are just so long. In Haeundae, I live in that neighborhood. So every time I walk by, the lines are just too long to stand in. So I actually haven't had one in a while.
I don't know. The last time I had it, I burned my... Because, sometimes they give it to you in a cup or like a little sleeve.
Always.
And I'm like... And you want to eat it while it's hot, right?
Yes. No, I can't wait either.
Burning myself. Yes. Well, we're going to jump into our segment. What do you have for us?
So today, unfortunately, I have to say it's not a happy, positive topic. Yes, we have reached this point, and in climate news, this is pretty breaking news and a really big deal, but the Global Tipping Points report has been released, and many of you out there, probably like me, actually, I didn't know what this was, don't know what a Global Tipping Point report is. Right? So I'll get into that. What is actually a climate tipping point? So what happens is that when parts of our planet, like the rainforest, like the ice sheets or coral reefs, they get kind of pushed past their limit, past their threshold of what they can take.
Right.
And so once that happens, the ecosystem starts to change little by little on its own. And then oftentimes it accelerates and gets much faster, and that gets too fast for us humans to keep up with, or for us humans to reverse, or for us to even change at all. So once that limit has been reached, it's really hard for us to go back, if not impossible to reverse. So that has reached.
We're there?
We're there at one of these points. So the Global Tipping Points report is released from 160 scientists around the world from 23 different countries. And this year, something not very good has come out of this report. So the world has reached our first catastrophic climate tipping point where our warm water coral reefs are collapsing.
Wow.
Big deal.
And you called it catastrophic.
Yes, because like I said, a tipping point. Imagine like a chair, if you're leaning back in a chair and it starts to tip over.
At that very point.
Yeah, there's a certain point where you can kind of rebalance yourself, but there's a point where you have no going back, right? You're going over and it's really hard to save yourself.
Yes.
We're at that point with the coral reefs. So the coral reefs start dying off between about 1.0 degrees Celsius and 1.5 degrees Celsius. So the Earth has already warmed to 1.4 degrees. So we are kind of within that threshold where like coral reefs have started to die. We've already seen this. Scientists have been warning about this for many, many, many years, even decades. People have been telling us this is quite dire. If we don't starting to not warm the oceans, then the coral reefs are going to get to a point where there's no return. So we've reached that point right now.
And then we have a visual if you're joining us on our YouTube channel. So can you explain the photos? Like,
so
is that
actually,
a before and after?
Yeah, the before and after, the right side where it's actually like a brown color, that's a live coral.
Oh, that's the live coral.
That's the live coral. And the one on the other side is actually a coral that has been bleached. And once corals become bleached, it's not to say that once they're bleached, they're completely dead and there's no coming back from it, but it's very, very, very difficult. So a lot of the world's corals have been bleaching for a long time, and that's kind of the warning sign that they're giving off. Like, we are in trouble once the ocean temperature gets to a certain degree. Coral reefs are very, very sensitive. So even just the 0.2, 0.3 degrees Celsius of a warming point, that's when they start bleaching. So as we see the before and after here. Before, colorful coral, like lots purple, of life around. They're kind of the life source of the ocean. Right. So you can see how the after picture, there's really nothing else there because they provide homes and they provide food for most of the marine life. A third of the marine biodiversity is because of the coral reefs. So,
and I keep on mentioning the visuals. If you can, I hope if you're drawing, don't. But if you can, check out the visuals because it gives you a really stark contrast the before and after, and what we are doing to the corals, whether we want to admit it or not. We're affecting these changes. And the before and after pictures, I like looking at them because it's such a reminder. Like, look, we're killing literally the coral.
And I think it's really good to see the visual because it's not something that we see every day. A lot of people actually don't ever see coral reefs. I mean, if you live here, there's not a high chance that you're going out diving and seeing coral reefs maybe ever. So it's out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. And you just hear, but we've been hearing about this for a while. But when you really see it, the visual of it, you kind of start to understand what it's doing to that ecosystem underneath the ocean. We go to the ocean, it's beautiful, but we don't understand how rich a biodiverse life is under there and what that life is doing for our lives.
And we have a comment from Tommy, who is an engineer, and he's like, coral reefs they're really basic elements to make our oceans healthy. And this is coming from, a scientist, like an engineer who fully understands what's going on right now.
Yeah, and if you have tuned in before, I always kind of hark, ocean health is our health too.
Yes.
So just because if the oceans die separately, it doesn't mean that we are not affected.
Of course.
If the ocean is affected, we are very affected.
Yes.
So scientists all around the world have been warning of this grave danger that unless global temperatures kind of halt or slow down, most of the coral reefs will be gone. So we're at that point right now where they're disappearing quite rapidly.
Yes. So once again, if you're just joining us, this is Simply Sustainable. And Bonnie just pointed out we have reached that first climate tipping point, right?
Yeah.
And so what else do we need to know?
So the coral reefs, I think, I've talked about it on this episode before, but I want everybody to understand the coral reefs are kind of like the lungs of the ocean. So if you think of them kind of like the trees on the earth, if all the trees disappeared on the earth, we would be in big trouble.
Yes.
Right? So same thing, if all the coral reefs disappear in the ocean, that is big trouble for not just the ocean and all the animal life, marine life, but for us as well.
Okay.
So it's a kind of like a ripple effect that will start to happen where the whole ocean ecosystem will start to also die off because, like I said, the coral reefs serve as food and shelter for a lot of the marine life. So think of it as like the very bottom of the food chain. So if the bottom dies off, everything above it also will start to die off.
Yes.
And also the ocean provides, I always say this, but to remind you, 50% of the oxygen that we breathe. So half of the air that we breathe comes from the ocean. Not only that, it consumes about 30% of the carbon dioxide. So all the pollution that we create as humans, if the earth didn't help us to absorb it, we would be walking around with probably gas masks on right now. But the ocean very kindly absorbs about 30% of that pollution, carbon dioxide for us so that we can breathe nice, healthy air. So if the ocean's in trouble, and it can't do that, then that's going to have dire consequences for us as well.
Yes.
Hundreds of millions of people also rely on the ocean for income, as jobs, and as food.
True.
A lot of the food comes from marine life as well, and protection, because the coral reefs act as kind of like a barrier. So big waves, when we have huge storms, don't go in and ruin villages and towns and cities. So if you put it on kind of an economic scale in terms, they are worth about $10 trillion to the global economy. So if something worth $10 trillion in the global economy is in trouble, don't we want to save it? Don't we want to help it, right? But it's something that we don't think about too much. And I also want to point out that coral reefs, they don't grow very quickly. So we see these beautiful marine life, it looks really awesome, but once they get destroyed, it's not like we can just plant new ones and then, we have a whole new forest, we have a whole new reef system. They can take hundreds of years to form. And like the branching coral, the ones that kind of look like trees, they can grow about 10 centimeters a year. 10 centimeters a year. Then massive corals, the ones that you see that are kind of like, they almost look like brains or like plant that is like big sheets on it. Those can grow about 0.3 to 2 centimeters a year.
Ooh.
Very, very slowly.
Right.
So this is not something that we can just quickly fix overnight. And those complex reef systems could take 10,000 years to form.
Wow.
So these things that take a very long time to form, we are destroying very quickly.
And so as we're supposed to be stewards of Earth, which include, of course, the oceans and thus the coral reefs. I mean, that was a lot of doom and gloom.
I know.
But I'm hoping you have something for us.
Yes, and I want to say, like, I always want to bring in like tidbits and hope and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But also, I just really wanted to bring this in because this is, I don't want to sugarcoat it either because this is very consequential for us.
Yes.
And like I said, a tipping point is a point where you cannot come back from. No, we don't want to get there, right?
Yes.
So there are some places that scientists have found coral refugia, which contains corals that can adapt and have been seen to survive over that 2-degree increase. But that means that we really need to protect those coral reefs that do remain, and we really need to make sure that we don't get to that point.
Okay.
Because we don't really know. Some of these coral reefs can survive, but that's not to say that all of them can, and we don't really want to play with that. We don't really want to get there, because think of how big the ocean is. We cannot just lower the temperature. It's not like thermostat that we can just turn a dial and all of a sudden it will go down. Right? So, a lot of human pollution, a lot of like plastics in the ocean, a lot of overfishing, these things all contribute to that growing global temperature rise, global climate change, but also it's putting a lot of pressure on the ocean because it can't keep up with all the pollution inside of it. So the little things that we can do, like I always talk about plastic reduction, and really being mindful of where your fish or your marine seafood comes from, making sure that it's not supporting a company that overfishes. So this is my, take doing your homework a little bit, going out there, making sure that you're not buying from these big conglomerate corporate fishing industries that are doing trawling, which is like scraping the bottom of the ocean. So these coral reefs are already in trouble, but we're also kind of like damaging a lot of them because of our conveniences of eating seafood and whatnot. So, I'm not to say it's all doom. We can do something, but that something needs to happen now. So this is why we really wanted to bring this up, because unless we change the global temperature rise right now, we are reaching a point where we cannot save the coral reefs at all. And at that point, that's just doom and gloom. At that point, there won't be.
There won't be anything at the end to say, but there's a ray of light.
Yes.
It'll be too late.
There is a ray of light, but it's quite thin right now. And so this is why this global tipping points report was released. And a lot of scientists out there are saying, we've been warning about this.
Yes.
It has happened. And there are other global tipping points as well that could be happening. But this is the one that we really need to pay attention to right now. So, if I'd like to give a message out, if there was ever a time that I could like ring a bell and tell everybody in the world, listen up, it would be now. Please pay attention to what's happening out there, and let's make those changes now.
Yes. Well, thank you for ringing the bell, alerting us and warning us about this climate tipping point that we have reached, this first one. Hopefully, we won't reach the next one.
Yes,
we
crossing fingers. We can do it.
Yes. Well, thank you for bringing such an important issue to our listeners and viewers. And of course, we'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Bonnie.
Yes, thank you.
All right. This was Simply Sustainable with Bonnie. And it's time to also say goodbye on this Tuesday morning. So wishing everybody out there a beautiful Tuesday. And I'm going to give a shout out to somebody who I think is very special. I hope I have it correct. I wrote it down in my calendar. I input it. I hope I input the right date. It's our producer's birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to Yeji PD님. Woo! She thought we didn't remember. I was saving it till the very end. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to our beloved producer. She does such a fantastic job every day to keep you all informed and entertained. Final song is 내 눈에는 by Psy. So enjoy. Bye, everybody.
당신은 너무나 섹시해 쳐다보지 마 창피해 나풀거리는 단발머리에 향기에 난 취해 가시도 진장미 같이 안 칼져 보이는 아가씨 피부는 우유빛이고 하늘거리는 옷은 비치고 미치고 이건 운명의 장난치리고 내 필이고 어쩜 이리도 아름답냐 너 사람 맞냐 보일 듯 말 듯 잡힐 듯 말 듯 아침 미술 먹은 사슴의 눈망울처럼 아주 촉촉해 내 눈에는 그대가 천사로 보여 내 눈에는 기쁨의 눈물이 고여 내 눈에는 모든 게 아름다워요 내 눈에는 너밖에 안 보여 향기로운 몸짓에 신비로운 눈빛에 간지러운 손짓에 너의 웃음소리에 너의 목소리에 너의 콧소리에 난 반해버렸네 향수를 쓰지 않아 샴푸 냄새 하나 양주를 먹지 않아 감수성 그 하나로 넌 독특해 난 어떡해 보면 볼수록 붉은 내 기름을 들이붓네 불타올라 달아올라 도레미파솔라 도도해 보여 똑똑해 보여 무뚝뚝해 보여 하지만 화끈해 보여 몹시 맵신하고 섹시한 아가씨 보일 듯 말 듯 잡힐 듯 말 듯 아침 미술 먹은 사슴의 눈망울처럼 아주 촉촉해 내 눈에는 그대가 천사로 보여 내 눈에는 기쁨의 눈물이 고여 내 눈에는 모든 게 아름다워요 내 눈에는 너밖에 안 보여 향기로운 몸짓에 신비로운 눈빛에 간지러운 손짓에 너의 웃음소리에 너의 목소리에 너의 콧소리에 난 반해버렸네 당신에게 홀딱 반해 빛이 난다네 너에 대한 환상에 환장해 너무 이쁘잖아 너 나랑
Your bridge to the world. BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
English with
부산 아지매